Welcome back, and today I'm working on my 2006 Volvo V50. We're gonna be replacing the rear right wheel bearing. This is the T5 all-wheel drive model. I got the cheapest wheel bearing from Rock Auto, Chinese brand made in China. Cost me 100 Canadian dollars including shipping and taxes, which brings me to savings of roughly $200. Looks like it's a good quality. Who knows, we'll see how long it will last, but I decided to give it a shot and give this brand a chance. Let's begin by raising the vehicle, removing the wheel and securing it. There is a video of front wheel bearing replacement, which I'm gonna link right now in the top corner. If you haven't seen it, you can watch it. The rear bearing is much easier to replace because it's just bolted on compared to a pressed in version into the knuckle on the front wheels. I haven't looked in the manual, so let's see how it's gonna go. I will be doing also the rear brake pad replacement. So we're gonna remove this retaining spring, undo the two dust caps for the hex bolts, which hold the caliper in position.
7 hex.
The guide pins, which I'm undoing right now, Volvo manual says do not lubricate. This is a religious subject here. I know some people do, some people don't. I've done it on my C70. This time I decided not to. We're gonna just clean them well once we take them out. The rotors are in good condition. The car has only 65,000 kilometers. These are the pins, but because I'm doing the bearing, I decided to replace the pads because they're coming close to the wear limit. There is still some meat to it, but if I'm here, why not just do the job right away? As you can see, there is still life left in them. Let's hang the caliper so I don't damage the brake line. Next is the bracket, two 13mm bolts. Bracket is out. Since I have the all-wheel drive, we're gonna remove the 14mm axle nut or bolt. As we can see, the rotor is in good condition. This is the first time I'm doing brake pads on the rear. Again, 65,000 kilometers. And here are the 4 Torx bolts that hold the hub, the bearing in position. Before we continue, we gotta remove the ABS sensor by removing this little bolt. Now here is a problem, my Torx socket set. What happens is it does not fit in the service hole in the bearing on the hub, as you can see here. So I started to scratch my head. What am I doing next? Am I ordering new tools and leaving the vehicle on jack stand here? But then I forgot that I have this tool from Home Depot, which also kind of fits not very well. It fits only this way, and I had to improvise, and I'm gonna use a long extension bar to undo those bolts, which actually work for me. And this steel bar, it's very long, very heavy, actually helped me out so many times already doing my repairs. Here is another improvisation here to get some more leverage, and I was really surprised how stiff the Torx tool is, which didn't break. So good quality here from Husky from Home Depot, and it actually saved me by completing this repair. So 4 bolts to unscrew, which will release the hub from the knuckle. Now we can hear the bearing. Next we gotta transfer the dust shield. Next is some cleaning on the splines, and I wanna also put some anti-seize on it to prevent any rusting forming for the next time if I have to undo this part. I honestly wish that the front bearings would have the same design where you just bolt them on, because let me tell you, pressing that bearing in is a big headache. You gotta take it to a shop or have the proper tool to do it properly. We're gonna screw back the 4 bolts, and I'm gonna use the extension bar to carefully tighten those bolts. Unfortunately, I didn't have Vida to check the torque specs, but good and tight was good enough for me. Next to the brake pads, we gotta compress the piston here. I'm using those long nose pliers to simultaneously push in and rotate the piston. And again, sorry for not providing the torque specs. I just didn't have Vida at the moment on any of my computers, but good and tight will be okay, not a big deal here. The bracket, I've cleaned the location for the pads to slide, reinstalling the ABS sensor. Original Volvo brake pads made in Italy, will fit S40, V50, C30 and C70. Approximately, I think it was like 80 Canadian dollars for the pads. I know you can buy way cheaper on Rock Auto, but I think original is gonna give me better performance. So we're gonna install those new pads. Surprised how much Chinese language is on this package. Really surprises me. The instructions here printed for you. Let's compare the brake pads. Yes, I know I could have used for another good year or another 20-30,000 kilometers, but I decided while I'm here, just want to do the pads at the same time and forget about it for the next few years. You gotta put some brake lubrication here where the brake pads are sliding on the bracket. The original pads, as you can see, there is a rubberized mating surface to make sure they're quiet. I still use some brake paste on the pads here on the back side. You don't have to. Nice and new thick pads here. Same goes on this one. Cleaning the guide pins. You want to make sure they're nice and smooth, clean without any residue. And again, as per Volvo instructions, do not lubricate those. You want to be careful tightening those guide pins. They don't need lots of torque here, so just be careful. Nice and tight, do not overdo those. The retaining spring is a little bit tricky to reinstall, but take your time. Eventually it will go in. And this completes the job on one side. Now what's left is to do the brake pads on the other side. So the only bearing that's original is gonna be the rear left, which is gonna be in question, honestly. But as soon as I'm gonna hear any new noise coming from a wheel bearing, I'm gonna know most likely it's gonna be the old rear left. And one of the mechanics told me that if the car sits for a long time, and this car sat for many years sitting around, the bearings go bad, they go rusted, they rust. That's the reason why the bearings went bad on this Volvo. Remember, I got it with only 18,000 kilometers on the odometer, and it's a 2006 vehicle. Before I compress the next piston, I want to make sure that the brake fluid is not gonna overflow, and it looks like it's not. Because anytime when you compress the piston, the level in the reservoir goes up, so you want to make sure you keep an eye on that. So fast forward here, again, new pads on the rear left too. Finally, I can enjoy a quiet ride. The noise was really annoying when you're driving the car. This tool saved me time today. The bearing is gonna go into the garbage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.